You make six figures. Congratulations. You're officially doing well according to the government and, of course, in family gatherings. But somehow you're still stressed out about money. Your friends back home think you're rich. Meanwhile, you're doing a mental math at a grocery store, wondering if you can afford a name brand cereal. You're not bad with money, the math is rigged. And I'm going to show you exactly why a 100,000 salary in Canada has the buying power of a mediocre government employee from 2010. My name is Guru, MBA in finance, 6 years in banking. Let's ruin our day with facts. Let's start with that 100,000. That's a beautiful number. It's round, impressive at dinner parties, but completely meaningless because you never actually see the 100,000. The government and the CRE sees it first and they're very excited about it. First up, you got federal tax on the 100K. That is $16,878. Thank you for your service. Next up, you got provincial tax. I'm in BC, so you can add about $6,746. I just got to know BC stands for bring cash, by the way. Already, right off the bat, we are $23,624 gone. That's a pretty nice car you just donated to the government fund, whatever it is they're spending it on. But hold on, there is more. CPP, Canada Pension Plan, take away $3,500. That's for a retirement fund you'll probably never see because maybe you will just die at your desk trying to afford rent. Then you got employment insurance, take away $953. That is in case you lose your job. With all the stress you've got, maybe it's a relief at this point. That is $28,077 in deductions before you even stepped into Tim Hortons. Your actual take-home salary is $71,923. Now, if you thought that was your take-home salary, this is where the government says, that's cute. Because next up you got sales tax. GST plus PST in BC is 12%. That applies to almost everything you buy. Clothes, taxed. Furniture, taxed. That thing that you bought on Amazon at 2 a.m. because retail therapy is cheaper than actual therapy, taxed. At the lowest estimate, let's say you spend about $50,000 on taxable stuff. That's another $6,000 to the tax gods. So your real take home is now $65,923. Hold on, so you went from $100K to $65,923 and you still haven't paid for a place to sleep yet? Let's see how that works. Average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Greater Vancouver is approximately $2,400 a month. That is $28,800 for a year. For the privilege of living in a building where the walls are so thin, you know your neighbor's Netflix password. Groceries for the household, that is easily $800 a month. Make that $9,600 for a year just to discover a bag of grapes now costs what used to be a decent family dinner out. Car expenses? Insurance in BC is $2,400 in a year because ICBC looked at your clean driving record and said, hey, I saw you driving like a maniac while playing GTA 5. On top of that, gas $2,000. Vehicle maintenance $1,000. That is $5,400 in a year for a depreciating metal box. Utilities, phone and internet, that's about $200 a month. That is $2,400 to have running water and to have the ability to complain about all of this on Reddit. The total for basic human survival is $46,200. You started with $100K. After that, the government snatched their cut and you paid for the absolute basics for not dying. And now you have $19,723 left for the entire year. That is $1,643 for everything else. Retirement savings, emergency fund, date night, your kids' hockey, new shoes because your current ones have holes in it, and therapy for dealing with all of this. To sum up, everything. That's why making $100K in Canada feels like you're the richest person in the food bank lineup. But wait, it gets even more fun. There is something I'd like to call lifestyle tax. You see, when you make 100k, the society expects you to look like you make 100k. You can't just show up to a client meeting in a 1998 Corolla with a duct tape on the bumper, and you need business casual clothes, which is code for expensive but somehow still uncomfortable. You need a phone that doesn't take 6 minutes to start, a laptop that doesn't sound like a jet engine. Maybe you're expected to contribute to office lunches, probably grab drinks after work, networking. And here is the psychological trap that doesn't come with a warning. Housing costs scale with your income. A 100k earner doesn't rent a $1,200 basement suite with coin laundry. You could, but then you'd have to explain to everyone, including yourself, why you are living like a student when you're supposed to be successful. So you pay $2,400 for a shoebox apartment, and probably that building was built right after World War II. And when you switch on the dishwasher, it remembers all the sounds from World War II. But hey, you got the in-suite laundry. And the landlords pricing these apartments, they know exactly how much you make. Somehow they've calibrated the rent to exactly match 30 to 40% of your gross income. That's not really conspiracy, but it's capitalism with real good spreadsheet. Welcome to the six-figure squeeze. This is where you make too much to qualify for any sort of help, but not enough to actually get ahead. And then the government tells you, you got RRSP contribution room. Good luck maxing that out when you need cash flow, just to survive. Down payment for a house? Median house prices in Vancouver is $1.2 million. High chances you may need a 20% down on that home. That is $240,000. At your current rate of $19,723 per year, that is 12.2 years of consistent saving of every single loony and a toonie. That means no vacations, no emergencies, no kids, no hobbies, no pets. To sum up, no life. Just 12.2 years of eating toast and praying that the duct tape on the bumper of your Corolla doesn't fall off. That's why people making six figures in Canada still have anxiety attacks in cereal aisle. And here is the depressing part. In 2010, a median home price in Vancouver was close to $600k. In 2025, that is $1.2 million. That means housing doubled, but your salary did not. Unless you got a 100% raise in the last 15 years, you fell behind. Congratulations. In 2010, average one-bedroom rent in Vancouver was $1,000 a month. In 2025, that was $2,400 a month. Rent went up by 140%. Did your salary go up by 140%? No. Weird how that works. And here is the kicker. In 2010, you could buy a home with 5% down as a first-time buyer. Mortgage rates were close to 3.5%, and houses were 3 to 4 times your annual salary. In 2025, high chances you may need a 20% down for any house over 1 million. Mortgages right now are 4 to 5%, and houses are 12 times your annual salary. They changed every rule in the book, and now they ask, why aren't you winning? Now let's translate this into pain that even epidural cannot help relieve. In 2010, a 100k salary could easily carry a 500k mortgage. In 2025, that same 100k maybe qualifies you for a 450k mortgage with these kind of interest rates. But the medium home costs 1.2 million, so you're pre-approved for probably 1/3 of the house. Maybe you can buy the garage, a driveway, or a real nice IKEA closet. And if you are an immigrant like me, you're even more screwed because you didn't own the property before the prices went full Elon Musk level net worth on everyone. You're starting from zero in a monopoly game where everyone else already owns the boardwalk. This is why the age-old advice is useless. Just work hard and save. Our parents bought their houses at 3 times their salary in the year 1985, but we look at houses that cost 12 times our salary. It's not the same game anymore. It's a different game, but same expectations, maximum frustration. So what does this all mean? A 100k salary in Canada has roughly the buying power of $50,000 from 15 years ago. Maybe even lesser depending on where you live. Are people financially irresponsible? Are they bad at budgeting? I don't think so. It's just that the system changed and nobody got the memo. Taxes, groceries, housing, all of these went up. And your salary, it climbed up the Burnaby mountain while housing prices were climbing the Everest. And we keep wondering, why is there this permanent dark shadow on our bank account? And you can't even complain about this because the government thinks you make 6 figures and you're entitled. Meanwhile, you're over here watching this video, wondering if you can afford guacamole at Chipotle. If you want me to break down other salary brackets, 75k, 150k, 200k, just comment down the number below and I'll ruin that salary with mathematics. Subscribe if you enjoy financially motivated existential dread. On my next video, I'm gonna talk about the biggest subscription plan with no cancellation option. And until then, welcome to adulthood. It's a scam, but at least we are all here together.